You wouldn't last a single day in the Middle Ages. Picture this. You wake up in the morning and discover you've been transported to the 14th century. No phone, no internet, no Netflix, just you. A stinking village, muddy streets, and a medieval world ready to turn your life into a nightmare. And I've got bad news. You wouldn't last a single day there. Breakfast, sort of. If you complain today about your limp French roll, in the Middle Ages, you'd kiss the baker just to get bread that actually tasted like bread. Most people ate a bland soup called pottage, a thin broth of vegetables boiled until all flavour was gone. And the bread. Forget that soft white fluff from the bakery. Medieval bread was heavy, dark, and full of grit because the flour was ground between stones. Result, broken teeth and shredded gums. And to top it off, a lot of the bread was contaminated with a fungus called ergot. That fungus caused hallucinations. In other words, you thought your neighbour was a witch, but it was really just food poisoning. Who knew witch hunt hysteria could have started at breakfast? Water. Only if you want to die faster. You get thirsty, look at the river and think, okay, at least I can drink water. Terrible idea. Medieval water was full of feces, animal carcasses, and everything else you don't want to picture. So everyone, including 5-year-old children, drank weak beer all day long. Yes, even the kids' lunch was washed down with tankards of beer. While you're posting a coffee pic on Instagram, a medieval child was already more buzzed than you at an open bar party. Hygiene, only for eccentric rich folks. In the Middle Ages, bathing was considered dangerous because they believed it opened the pores and let diseases in. Result, most people went months without washing. The rule was simple, a bath twice a year, if that. And the bathroom? It was a chamber pot under the bed. When it filled up, you just dumped it out the window. In cities, it was common to hear the shout "Gardiloo," which meant watch out for water. Spoiler, it wasn't water. Now imagine walking down the streets with open sewers, animal carcasses, and trash everywhere. No wonder people carried little bags of herbs to try to mask the smell. It was the medieval equivalent of deodorant. Medieval work. Survival CrossFit. Forget labour laws, forget vacations, forget decent pay. Most people were peasants, up at sunrise and working until they dropped. A normal day included ploughing with oxen, sowing by hand, and harvesting with a sickle. A 14 to 16-hour workday, and how much did you earn? Enough coins to buy 2 loaves of hard bread. Artisans worked in unhealthy workshops, blacksmiths inhaling toxic smoke, tanners handling urine and skin-burning chemicals. Result, short lives and eternal stench. Even children worked as apprentices from age 7, living almost like slaves until they became adults. And there you are, complaining about your internship. Medieval medicine, dying in the attempt you got sick. Congrats, your survival odds just got cut in half. In the Middle Ages, there was no concept of germs. They believed in miasma, a bad air that caused disease, or in an imbalance of the body's 4 humours. The solution? Bloodletting. Open a vein and let the blood flow, thinking it would cure everything from a fever to the plague. And if that wasn't an option, don't worry. Leeches were on standby. Some doctors even recommended 70 leeches at once. Result? You didn't get better, and you walked out as pale as a ghost. Without antibiotics, even a cold could kill you. And remedies included things like drinking mercury for skin problems. That's right, the treatment killed you faster than the disease. Medieval justice. Suffer, or suffer more. Say someone accused you of stealing bread. In medieval justice, that was enough for you to lose a hand, or your head. There were more than 200 crimes punishable by death. And to prove your innocence, you faced absurd trials. One was the trial by ordeal. Hold a red-hot iron. If your burn healed in 3 days, you were innocent. If it got infected, you were guilty. Another method was the trial by water, being thrown into a lake tied up. If you sank, you were innocent, but dead. If you floated, you were a witch or a heretic. A classic lose-lose situation. entertainment, blood and pain. You think medieval folk suffered so much they at least deserved some fun? Well, the options were limited. Watching public executions, seeing bloody animal fights, or throwing garbage at someone in the pillory. It was basically medieval Big Brother, just with more beheadings. Wars and plagues, bonus suffering. And if all that weren't enough, you still had to deal with constant wars and epidemics. The Black Death killed nearly half of Europe's population. Armies looted villages, burned crops, and raped women. And when a city was under siege, people starved until they ate rats, and one another. Conclusion. The Middle Ages may look romantic in movies with knights and castles, but the reality was much closer to a horror film. Rotten food, contaminated water, incurable diseases, brutal punishments, and zero hygiene. You wouldn't last a single day. And if you think your life is hard today, remember, at least you don't have to sleep next to a reeking chamber pot, eat bread full of stones, or hope to survive a 70 leeches treatment.